Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to my friend. He is the leader of Queso Mania and heading into a Epic Fighting Bantamweight title fight this July. He's the one and only Matt Queso Padilla. Matt, what's going on, my man?
What's up? Thanks for having me. Love being here.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's funny. It's been a while since we last talked. Man, 2020 was a motherfucker, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Big struggle for a lot of people, but I think most of us all came out all right.
No, 1,000%. Obviously for those folks that it didn't go so well, like thoughts and prayers, obviously. But I think the folks that were able to figure it out, regardless of what is going on, I think it might even kind of permeate to where we are now in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. I think no matter what, going through a tough year is going to build a lot of character for people.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, as an amateur fighter, right? What was, as you were looking down the barrel, December 31st, 2019, looking into 2020, what were you anticipating happening?
Honestly, I was trying to get a ton of fights when it came to 2020, and that obviously backfired pretty horribly. When was my last fight? I'm pretty sure it was 2018 for the Tough Enough title. And then I had like half a year off. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to focus and try to get better, focus on the gym, and just try to improve everywhere, and then make a good, strong run, get a couple belts, and go pro probably. And then CFL gave me a title fight, 135 against Adrian Spinks, and fight week, it got scrapped completely because of COVID.
Yeah, that happened. That was that week, right? That Saturday, right? Before,
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, everything kind of shut down, and then that Saturday, that was CFL.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 7 days from the fight that it got completely canceled. So yeah.
Man, and I mean, what was your, obviously, a CFL title fight, that promotion, a lot of their former champions have, gone on pro and went to, the Bellator or UFC, but you could say that with obviously, Spar Star, Epic Fighting, it's crazy the scene that we're in Southern California, that you literally look back, 3 to 5 years and you see a crap ton of pros as amateurs.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of our guys, Rob, he's Roberto. He's with Cobra Kai, but he's also on our team.
Yeah.
Like we all cross train together and everything. But I mean, he won their title, and then he's a pro, and he's got a really good record. He's probably going to end up in the UFC pretty soon, or Contender Series, and then earn that contract. And then, of course, Mason, he got that belt over at CFL.
Yeah, Icabellas, man.
State champ and CFL champ, 29 pounds. Dude got a bunch of belts before going pro, and, he's doing big things now.
Yeah, 100%. Coach Rob up in Canada saying, hey, brother, Coach Rob approved. Let me bring that up there. Shout out to you, Coach Rob. Yeah, man. Thank you for the support. And then Tyson Duckworth, the reigning and defending Alaskan Fighting Championship 145-pound champion, saying, yep, Team Quest in the house. Team Quest, Sonnen culture. So
Sun Couture, nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, obviously, seeing your teammates go pro and kind of, aspire to higher, right? How has that affected you in terms of your trajectory in this sport of MMA?
I mean, it just shows me where I'm at. You know, I know these guys are like all at the top, and I hang with everybody in training, and we all elevate each other, and it just lets me know where I'm at. Seeing them do big things like Trevor and Mason both winning the California state title, and then uh, David winning the Tough Enough title, being number one in the nation for flyweight. So it's like I know I'm training with really good guys, and it just elevates me and mentally and physically.
No, 1,000%. And yes, shout out to David Lopez. Tremendous. And he captured the flyweight right before, like, he got right in there, and then, like, COVID shut everything down. Like, he was the last, like, kind of fight card of note, right?
Yeah, he got it pretty good timing, and then he went pro, and I think like right after going pro, that's when everything hit.
Yeah, which I don't want to gloss over because I think it's important, and and it's something that's kind of sprouting up a lot, like all over Southern California. We've got obviously Black House, and sometimes they train with CMMA. We find out that Pinnacle, up in Redlands and the Inland Empire trains with CSW, and you mentioned that you guys at Team Quest, and Javon Coleman,
Oh
down
yeah,
from,
XL.
San Diego. Yeah, XL, right? You guys are all like cross training together. Man, how's that been? I think it's amazing that like within like elite gyms, there's like super gyms, there's like super groups. It's crazy.
Yeah, I never really liked the mentality of not spreading out and trying to find other talent to help you. You know, I think that's like just old school and not really gonna help people progress. You know, uh, jujitsu and Muay Thai, like everything's supposed to be about putting ego aside and helping each other. And I think that's what we do really well. We get Cobra Kai guys in, we get XL guys, and we all just elevate each other. You know, we put egos aside and just let each other show each other things and learn.
Yeah, no, 100%. And especially, getting good rounds with, sometimes in the room that you're at, you might not have, somebody at your weight class or your skill set, or you're fighting somebody that doesn't fit the body type of anyone in your gym, right?
Yeah,
And or even like an angle. Maybe somebody has fought your opponent before and whatever. And just, you never know because in the sport, it's like fractions of like a thought, a millimeter, a centimeter, what have you, that could change the tide of how not just a fight can go, but also a career can go.
absolutely. You could learn something from any of these guys that you cross train with that you learn once and then it sticks with you for the rest of your career.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, you're going into a title fight, right? You were mentioning obviously David Mason, Trevor, and you're actually going into where Trevor essentially won his epic title as well as California state title, and same opponent in it.
Yeah, same exact guy, and that's where Trevor built his last two fights before going pro. You know, against Alexis Esquivel, and those were some barn burner fights. Respect to that guy for going through what he did, and I don't have any animosity. I don't care that he fought my guy or whatever. I'm just gonna go in. It's a separate thing. It's my fight.
Yeah, no, I think especially after the last year, I think everybody's just jonesing, to get a fight.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any. I want to believe that MMA, especially as we come back here in California and other parts of the country, where it's seemingly over the course of a year, most of the amateur scene, not just here but nationwide, got eradicated because the amateur fights, their lifebloods are live ticket sales, and when you can't actually sell tickets, there's not a stream that you could pay for or a commission that you could maybe pass an envelope to. Like everything is shut down. So I think this first Epic back, this first Star back, this first Knockouts promotions back. I think it's going to be a celebration. I don't think there's going to be any animosity at all.
credit to Harvey Castellano, Jason Stewart for putting the show together. They've got 8 title fights on this one. Absolute banger for the first fight back. You know, this is going to be a huge event. I'm really pumped for it.
Yeah, man. So I mean, the man, Alexis Exwell, man, he's somebody that obviously you saw fight firsthand. Somebody like I know pretty closely. This one, when it was announced, as a fight fan, I loved. Right, it's a fight fan I loved. As like knowing both of you guys, I'm just like I want to close my eyes and whatever happens, and it was almost like what was it? Daniel Rodriguez versus Gabriel Green in Gabriel Green's first fucking fight. I was like, God, those are my guys. Like, fuck, good for them. They're getting their shot, but I was just like that the whole fucking time, man. Like, but I know that this is what you guys have trained for, so that kind of gives me kind of some solace.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, both guys are chasing their dream. Somebody's
Yeah.
got to take an L, you know.
Yeah,
So it's just part of the game. But,
yeah.
you know, just like being a fight fan, you're going to watch 2 of your favorite fighters fight one day.
Yeah, yeah, that's and again, that's something that's pretty unique to MMA, and I would say MMA more so than any other combat sport because heck, you could be in boxing, right? Like
Yeah.
Shannon the Cannon Briggs, right? Like there was probably never a time that he was going to be on a collision course with Tyson or whatever. You could be a pro boxer and not, kind of go into another person's territory. But I feel with like MMA, because I guess the recency of it, it's you're gonna get the fights more along the lines of what you want to see. But again, the more likelihood that your favorite fighters are gonna clash, and you're gonna have to go this way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like watching Ferguson and Cerrone or Ferguson Gaethje or something like that.
Yeah. So in this year's time, obviously, having this time to kind of improve your skill set, but have you started to really? I know you watched a lot of tape, but like, did you hunker down in terms of your PhD in MMA? Were there fights you were watching or things that you were getting inspired by?
Man, I'm always watching fights, you know. I was watching Stylebender for a long time before I even got in the UFC. I'm still sad that I never got to watch him fight for the Glory Belt when it was in LA. I was really trying to make it out to that. I couldn't make it. But, you know, I'm a big fight fan. I try to watch every fight that I can, LFA, all the smaller shows, you know, the feeder promotions. So there's a lot of different places where I take inspiration, and you never know. You watch a fight and you see just one technique that you take, and you're like, oh, I'm going to start using that.
Yeah. So in the last year, because we've seen, I guess the kind of emergence of calf kicks. We've seen like obviously the Joaquin Buckley KO. Right. There's been so many things, but
Yeah.
can you think to or point to a moment where you're just like, oh, it all begins again?
Well, actually, Benson Henderson was like one of the first guys using the calf kick. That guy was using it way before everybody, at least on like the biggest primetime spot, you know, like out in the mainstream spot, UFC title fights. He's throwing calf kicks like crazy. He just never had that right placement where it triggered that nerve damage and got everybody freaking out, you know. But that guy's a pioneer.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I don't think he gets the credit that he's due in terms of what he's done because everybody just looks at the Showtime kick, and that's obviously it was his hair kind of going
Pretty
like that.
exaggerated, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
but
he still holds the record for title defenses along with Habib.
yeah,
So, yeah, that guy's really underrated in the most stacked division.
yeah, man. Oh, oof, that division is crazy.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Which I gotta. So your social media handles, right,
Pretty
was
simple.
125.
Yeah, Matt Padilla 125 on just
Yeah,
about everything.
right. And then now you're taking a fight at. Isn't this Bantam?
Yeah, this is bantamweight. Yeah, it contradicts itself a little bit, but you know, I'm game. I think it's a fun fight. I like the fight. and it's for a belt. Piqued my interest.
So, I mean, do you think going forward, do you want to go back to flyweight, or you want to see how you feel at bantamweight, and maybe that could be a new home?
Uh, I've had, I think it's only been two fights that I've had at bantamweight, but I mean, I'm a flyweight at the end of the day. You know, my weight's not jumping up super bad. At least it did a little bit during COVID, but now that I'm just back normal, you know, my weight's good. I'm flyweight weight right now. Not super down, but like to where I could cut if I wanted to. But I'm at a good weight.
Must be damn nice. Good lord, I think I feel I'm still feeling like the corona weight champ, yo. Like it's not good, man. I got the body of a god. It just happens to be Buddha. It's not good.
Oh yeah. Well, God body's a God body.
I guess. I guess. Now, in terms of like, the room at Team Quest, and I know like Tyson kind of mentioned it, but do you kind of sit around and go like, "Holy shit, I'm here!" Like, as much of a fan of fights you are, right? You've seen the Dan Henderson, like videos and embeddeds and everything take place right there, and it's a match that you're playing your trade with,
Yeah,
along with.
I was in one.
Oh, you were in it.
Just for a second when we did the little Team Quest on 3 the break. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy looking at it in hindsight. Like we even have the big Dan has the Pride canvas hanging on the wall. Like, and whenever I'm like getting tired, I just look at that and I'm just like, I want to be part of history like this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which do you have that? Did you screenshot you, and then put it on a poster?
What do you mean?
Like you and the embedded, like.
Oh no. I I'm pretty sure I put it on my post a long
Okay.
time ago. Yeah, but man, Dan is, for being the legend that he is, he's like the least egotistical guy, the least sentimental guy. Like that's his banner in the background that he let me have. He was just
Wait, I was about to say, like,
yeah.
whoa.
Dan had a bunch of like fight week stuff, like banners or those things that say his name during the media, and like all in the back of the gym, and he was just ready to either throw it away or give it away. So a bunch of the gym guys turned in little scalpers and started taking stuff, like with permission. We didn't just steal it. He let us have it. But dude, Dan's crazy. He doesn't care about half of the stuff he's done. He'll like leave trophies collecting piles of dust. It's like, man, this is history. What's wrong with you? But he's so humble, man. He doesn't care.
Where's the pride belt?
Oh, that's in his room. He cares about that one.
Okay, I was
That's
about to say.
strike all the actual belts. Those are back home for him.
I wouldn't expect anything less. Like that, those are it.
There's
Like
pride trophies that are just sitting around and he doesn't care about. Surprisingly, those things are cool. They're huge, but they just collect dust for the most part. We gotta start hanging more stuff around the gym.
wow, and it's funny. Like I used to work at FedEx, so like to ship that big of a fucking trophy back here to the States from Japan, I and especially like the fucking late '90s, early 2000s, man. Like that's a pretty penny. That's like
I'm sure.
no, yeah. I mean, it's most people like if you're lower tiered UFC, right? That
Yeah,
is your fight. Like best case scenario, like your entry, your show money, and your fight money to ship that fucking thing back.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, especially lower tier guys.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, that's so funny. That's funny. So
Yeah,
funny.
Dan's crazy. He's a humble dude, and it's like, you'll just look at the canvas on the wall or something, or he's got the big pride check sitting over there right next to the canvas too, and it's just like, man, this guy's history, and he just treats himself like just a regular guy. He's got no ego at all. Like that's exactly the kind of guy I want to be like, just no ego.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, I mean, I know you probably have been asked this to death, but in terms of like, the trading, I know Sam Alvey's there, but like, does Dan come in and get rounds, or now that he's retired, he kind of just stays off, or?
Sometimes, but obviously, if he's gonna help the little guys, it's more technique. Uh, he'll probably like help Sam or something, or Jared Vandera. He's fighting this week on
Yeah.
that Garbrandt Font card. He's right before the co-main event. Check him
Yeah.
out. It's gonna be a fun fight. And yeah, Dan's there every pro practice, so I see him all the time.
That's cool. Like, because there are some gyms, that if there's a name, they've got somebody instructing, and then, maybe for a seminar or something that happens at the gym, then you'll see the person. But it's cool that he's actually there for like pro practice and what have you.
Yeah, Dan's actually definitely, he's Captain Dan. He's there to help everybody as much as he can. At least during the pro practice, he'll show up. Then we'll see him every morning. You know what I mean?
That is sick, man. Obviously, Dan's got a lot of facets to him, but I mean, most people like forget about his wrestling prowess. Is there anything that you've picked up in your game, kind of seeing him, whether it be in on the mats or, just maybe film?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially on the mats. He's whenever he helps us on when it comes to cage work, especially or on the ground. Like that's when I really try to focus in, dial in 100%. Because I'm just like, this guy, he's gonna give you something. He's gonna give you a good nugget here. And same thing with Coach Joe Stevenson. Dude's an absolute legend. Beat Nate Diaz. Beat Gleison Tebow. Dude, like I get starstruck thinking about both of them sometimes, but I try to put it in the back of my head. But yeah, I'm absolutely humbled getting to learn by these guys.
That is sick, man. And again, Cobra Kai, Team Quest. Like again, that's a super team, man. Like it's nuts. It's nuts that you guys are getting together, but it's also like I just there's this next era of MMA fighters that are going to just know MMA, not be a particular specialist in wrestling or taekwondo or whatever. Like just know MMA, but then know from the pros and cons from literal legends. That damn, like it's. I don't think the sport and where it's going has looked any brighter.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these legends open up their own gyms now, or even just UFC vets that are really good coaches. Like, Dwayne Ludwig never won the UFC title or anything, but that guy's an extremely successful coach. Trevor Whitman, he wasn't in the UFC or anything, but extremely successful as a coach. You know, Anybody with experience could coach.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and Don McGuire says Joe Stevenson is a tremendous man. Humbled, he's my brother. No, shout out to you, good sir. No, man, it's kind of wild. But speaking of wild, and Queso Mania running wild, right? For those
Absolutely.
who don't know about how that kind of happened, I know you've told it before, but for those who don't know it, let's get it one more time.
For the shirt?
Like, how did you get the name Queso?
Oh, I honestly don't know if it was Dan, or not Dan, Sam or Tom, because they're the pun masters in the gym. Miss Coach Tom, he's out in Tennessee, Militia MMA. Check them out if you're ever in Tennessee, running a great program. But Sam and Tom, one of them made up the nickname. They just said queso and Padilla sounds like quesadilla. So there you go. They just wanted to make a pun out of my name.
And how well did that go over with you?
I did not like it at all. Like it was like half of the gym was calling me Killa Padilla, and then half of the gym was calling me Queso. And then I just did a poll on like Facebook and Instagram to see what everybody was gonna pick, and it was Queso. So I just bit the bullet, and I was like, I guess that's it. I'll just run with it.
You could have went with Killer Queso.
That's not bad either, but
I'm,
the poll is done.
oh, boo, boo. Hey, you tell that to anybody that's ran an OnlyFans like this kind of 2020 season. The poll isn't done, especially if you've got one off of eBay. But that's another story for another day. So, how psyched are you? Like your first fight back, like it's a title fight. It's almost a little bit of poetic justice in the sense that you were amped for a year prior for a CFL title fight, and then now You've got an epic title fight at bantamweight. Like, how psyched are you?
Oh, I'm extremely psyched up for it. I was honestly expecting the CFL fight to rematerialize, if anything, first. But, Harvey Castellano, Jason Stewart, they both jumped to the front of the line immediately trying to get a fight, like a big fight night. So they went ahead and booked it first. I just took whatever came up first.
Yeah, 100%. Which I don't know. Do you know when CFL is coming back, or?
I don't know. I hope soon because I'm definitely down to rebook that fight that I had originally as well.
Yeah, obviously the CFL family suffered a tremendous loss, in one Jason Glaza,
Mm.
Bellator veteran. And, he was one of the cornerstones, if not, yeah, definitely one of the cornerstones, along with Harvey and a litany of others, Joe Daddy. So, yeah, man,
Yeah,
that was a rough one.
yeah. If CFL ever wants to, rematerialize that last card that he matchmaked, in his honor, I'm definitely down to do that. So, they could hit me up if they ever want to make that fight again.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, I got to ask, at this juncture of your career,
Hmm.
um, what has been your favorite fight to date that you've been in?
Of my fights, man, it's a little tough. Actually, probably the Don De La Cruz fight. That was the second fight I had for Tough Enough. That was a loss, but it was a fun fight, and it was like every single fight before that was like I was on autopilot. It's really hard to explain. It felt like I had some VR goggles on and I was watching what was happening, but I couldn't control anything. And then that was the first fight where I was actually like, "Oh, I'm here. I know what's happening. I could throw whatever I want. I could do whatever I want." Like I was able to control my body. But all the other fights before that, it was like just running on instinct. It was weird.
Now, so that was the second fight. What
Yeah.
was the first fight like? If you're saying like, oh well, I finally felt like I
Well,
had control of myself. The
that was
second
the
fight,
second tough enough fight.
oh,
So that
second
was
tough
actually
enough fight.
that was my fourth fight where I finally started controlling myself in there.
So then, what the hell were the other three fights like?
Just autopilot, just my body doing whatever on instinct. It was really
That's
weird. I don't know how to explain it. It was just like it's literally like watching a first person movie of yourself, like a first person fight.
that's fucking wild, man. I was. Damn, I want to get more of this, right? So before that, like second tough enough in the fourth, amateur fight in your career, like what was the feeling in the first like three fucking fights, and what was the record?
It was 1-3, but I mean it was good fights. I like first fight was a split decision against Henry Beltran. Sam and everybody who watched still thinks I won, but I'm not salty. I don't care. Still lost. But I mean, they were all fun fights, honestly. What's his name? Aaron Lafarge, I fought after that. Kind of held me against the cage, but it's whatever. That's the style I got to get past. And, it's on me if I can't get off or that guy off me. But then the third fight was my Tough Enough debut. And I was like, man, I'm 0-2. This isn't going the way I thought it was. I was like, if I lose this, maybe that's a wrap. And then I went out. Somehow, I'm like reversing this guy when he takes me down. I don't remember anything, like how it's happening. I just know that I end up on top and that I start throwing my punches, doing whatever. Then second round takes me down and I immediately get a triangle. And I remember like in my head watching that triangle setup and it felt like the slowest thing on earth. And I was like, how did he let me do that? And then when I rewatched it in real time, I was like, oh, that was quick. I was like, what? So yeah, the whole fight thing is weird when you experience it first person, honestly.
Fuck. So I mean, have you? Because that's almost like a damn like I want to say celestial, extraterrestrial, whatever the fuck that is.
Like
Like,
out of body experience.
yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, do you attribute it to like adrenaline or whatever the fuck? Did you feel like the punches come in, or man, that's just intriguing.
It's definitely like probably adrenaline, like some fight or flight shit. But I don't know. I don't think I've really felt anything too hard in all of my fights, like getting hit hard or anything. But you know, I mean, I don't get hit that much.
Wow, man, that's so fascinating to me, man. I was almost like, was like Uncle Creepy in your locker room? I mean, in Uncle Creepy, I mean Ian McCall, right? Because he's into the psychedelics and all that shit and whatever, and that you might be tripping.
No, that guy's a legend though. That was actually one of the first guys that I saw when I started watching the fights. So yeah, I hold that guy up here. That guy's a legend for sure.
Dude. Of course, Ian McCall, one of the flyweight
Pioneers.
pioneers, man. Like through WEC, there was like him and like Scott Jorgensen and
Yeah,
Dom Cruz. Like obviously like 125, 135, but like all of those guys, man. Like I remember, fuck, I can't even remember what UFC game that was, but like I just remember like that first one after WEC got acquired by the UFC and shit like that.
yeah,
And I was like, oh shit, I get to play as like Faber and Cruz and fucking Jorgensen with like in his vitiligo and shit like that.
yeah.
Like, oh, that was fucking dope. But yeah, Uncle Creepy. But what he's done now in terms of like, you heard about like what he's doing?
I heard he's doing like studies to see what kind of regenerative properties the mushrooms could have. Right? That's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, yeah. And Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel actually did like a full piece, like segment with him, and it was just like, obviously they cited the deal of warriors that have gone to war and have PTSD, but then football players that have a lot of PTSD, and then obviously the fighters, and he was helping out like Dean Lister and who the fuck else? It's Dean Lister and somebody else. Oh fuck, I don't know. It's gonna hit me like once. Is Dean Lister? I want to. No, it's not. Fucking whoever it was. It was somebody. It was fucking somebody. But yeah, man, it's dope. Like
There's a documentary out on it.
it's. I'll send you the link. I'll definitely send
do.
you
I'd
the
love
link.
to watch
Yeah.
that. You should definitely be on the Joe Rogan podcast. That seems right up Joe's alley.
Yo, I don't know why it hasn't, because it's not like, well, Rogan obviously because of like Spotify. From what I've heard, like basically Spotify is like his new bodyguard. He's like, everybody waits beyond the velvet rope. Spotify is essentially the bouncer to get to Rogan. So
Yeah.
that's it. And apparently the list is long. So yeah, that needs to happen. Maybe we should fucking tweet both of them and be like, yo, you guys should make that happen.
Yeah, make a petition for that. I want to see that. That'd be a good conversation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What is your take on that? Because like we've seen like guys like Rashad Evans and Mike Tyson before the Triller fight, right? Like they just seem like fucking completely different dudes, man.
Yeah, they seem like it changed them for the better, And if it doesn't hurt anybody and it makes you see things in a humbling way, then go for it, As long as it's not something that's going to hurt your body.
Yeah.
I don't know what that could really do to you, but I mean,
Yeah.
it seems as natural as marijuana would. And
Or a piece of fucking lettuce. Like you go to Whole Foods and whatever. Like I'm surprised. I'm half surprised. Well, you probably can get like some sort of like microdose something at Whole Foods or whatever. Not
Probably.
at yeah. You probably have to. It'll probably be like the equivalent to like Dogecoin was at the beginning of the year. Like
Yeah.
that fraction amount of deal, and you'll probably pay $50 a pop. But then you'll fucking piss the damn Nyan Cat fucking stream and shit like that. Your fucking test will be off the charts.
as long as it's not making you hurt anybody and you're just tripping in your room, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah. Which, do you have a fucking memory of like, oh, I hurt somebody and I feel fucked up about it? It could be in training, it could be in the fight.
Definitely not. Or, if I hurt somebody in a fight, then that's never the intention. I'm Look, I'm willing to hurt you, but I don't intend to. I don't want to, ruin somebody's career or make them limp forever. That's never the intention. I don't want to see somebody break their finger like that guy at CFFC. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
man.
never want to affect somebody like that, or guys that'll slam during a guillotine and get disabled. It's like you never want that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all sportsmanship. Never want to ruin somebody's career.
Yeah. Which okay, so I love that you brought up that CFFC. So you want to hear a fucking like weird deal?
Go for it.
Okay, so that CFFC and like countless others basically happen in Philadelphia at the 2300 Arena.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the 2300 Arena was formerly known as?
In Philly, no, I don't.
The ECW Arena. The
ECW?
the fucking wrestling with the fucking barbed wire and thumbtacks and
Really?
all that shit. Yeah. And then even more so, right? So commentating was CM Punk.
Oh yeah.
CM Punk at the ECW arena, right? And of all the things, like, I think one of the reasons why the great Kurt Angle didn't sign with ECW and ended up signing with the WWF is because they had a character called the Sandman, which is the precursor to Stone Cold Steve Austin. But he was in a feud with this guy Raven, and they saw fit in terms of storyline rise to literally crucify the Sandman on across the whole. Yeah,
Was it in that arena?
Yeah, it was in that arena. The Sandman's crucifixion is in the same arena, obviously 25 years removed from that happening. Even further, working the door was Brittany Elkin. Brittany Elkin is going to be fighting Clarissa Shields in PFL.
Yeah.
Yes. So that all fucking happened that
Such
night.
a small world.
I swear to God.
Combat sports.
Oh man, that's why like I float MMA and pro wrestling because it's not that fucking different, man.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite fight as a fan?
As a fan, that's a hard one because I love watching fights. There's a bunch of fights that are stored in the bank, but I think one of my absolute favorites is Matt Brown versus Eric Silva. That was a barn burner. That was a crazy fight. I love watching Matt Brown get hurt to the liver, and you see it in his face how bad it hurts. But you could see how angry he looks at the same time, and he's like, "I'm not quitting. I'm not getting out of this." So I just love seeing people dig deep like that.
I like it. No, that's a fucking dope one. In terms of right now, right, current day MMA, right? Who do you think has the best flyweight and or bantamweight division in terms of pros?
In terms of pros, like which promotion has the best?
Yeah.
I think you can't argue that the UFC has the best division, but maybe you could argue which has the best champion. Like one, you saw Demetrius Johnson get knocked out by Moraes. Although it is a different rule set, maybe if the rule set was different, you wouldn't have seen that. But he did drop him with an uppercut.
Yeah.
Which is completely legal in every promotion you go to. So it's hard. I think Moraes could absolutely, probably give Figueiredo a run for his money, absolutely. But division-wise, you can't argue that the UFC has the most stacked one.
I like it. Okay, so I love that you mentioned the champions, right? So if you had a 4-night, like a 4-man tournament, right? You've got the one flyweight champion, Figueiredo. Does Bellator even have a flyweight?
No, but Sergio Pettis was a flyweight, and he just won the bantamweight title.
Okay, so let's put Sergio in as a bantamweight here, and then obviously, wait, does PFL have a flyweight?
No, I wish they did, man.
Fuck.
PFL definitely going to make waves with the new generation because that's a lot of people are going to look at that million and be like, I think I could do that.
Yeah, dude. What about fucking what's his name? Sean O'Connell.
Oh yeah, dude, that's like a movie. You can make a movie out of that guy's career just off of the storybook ending he got. That's insane. Especially beating Vinny Megaleus for the main.
Yes,
It's
as
insane.
yoked this fucking Vinny got.
Yeah, that
That
guy
dude's
looked
a
huge.
fucking. I mean, he was a jiu-jitsu ace. We don't even have to talk about it. Like the fucking, the arch villain of Hanata Lala and shit like that. But
Yeah,
like, he just fucking. I don't. I mean, I want to say that's like fucking natural for sure, but he just got fucking yoked, man.
yeah, he's terrifying. He was the boogeyman out there. Everybody thought he was gonna get that million. Man, I wish I put some money on O'Connell that night.
Man, I fuck. Well, definitely O'Connell definitely put money because he came
Oh
back.
yeah,
He came back, right? And then also, tried out commentating, which you
yeah, I
couldn't.
love that. I
Yeah,
honestly, I was listening to PFL and I was like, oh, this guy's good. I wonder who it is. And then they cut to the commentators, and I'm like, oh, that's O'Connell. Good for him. He's a really good commentator. Pretty underrated.
yeah, man, and it's crazy because obviously with all the things that are going on with the UFC and what have you, you can't keep everyone, right? You can't keep everyone to a
Yeah,
contract. So,
even Goldberg had to be let go. Jimmy
yeah,
Smith,
Jimmy Smith is in WWE right now.
is he really?
Yeah, and
Man,
their developmental brand. It's so fucking
mm,
crazy.
nice. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that. I love that both worlds could get intertwined like that. Matt Riddle, other
Matt
guys.
Riddle, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, like seeing people maybe you didn't get that much success in MMA, but then you cross over and you see a lot of success like Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. Oh God, I just love the fact that there's a literal descendant from like Billy Robinson and Carl Gotch, and it's a woman in the WWE.
It's pretty crazy how just the
Fucking
timelines.
yeah, man. There's never been a better time to be a fan. Just a fan, right? Of everything combat sports. Because here's the fact of the matter. When you talk about when you talk about PFL, you talk about Bellator. Look, so one, right, has it on lock in terms of Sony and everything in Asia, right? You've got PFL, which is on ESPN Plus, much like the UFC, right? You've
Hmm.
got Bellator with Viacom money right behind it on Showtime, right? Like there's combates on Univision, like there's so much, right? And then you got the WWE, AEW, fucking New Japan, like there's so much everything everywhere. I think it's a buyer's market if you play your cards right, as a mixed martial artist or just as an athlete, you know, fuck, there's another thing like that you could do.
Yeah,
Fucking Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn, right?
yeah. I wouldn't doubt Sam Alvey would try getting into the WWE.
He'd be perfect.
Oh yeah, he
He'd
would.
be fucking perfect.
That guy could cut a promo.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to some people.
I'm
I'm
sure
just
he's
saying.
thinking about it already.
Yeah, dude. Like that's to me that seems like a layup, right? And then
Perfect.
especially yeah, and you know his wife, who's like the fashion model, also designer, like basically doing his gear. Oh my god, I'm booking it in my head. It's amazing. Hey, what's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and apparently it looks like Matt might have hit end on his end. So I'm just gonna ramble through and until he gets back. But if you got, how are you guys doing? First and foremost, I hope you guys are well. It's a crazy, crazy time, but I'm glad you're sticking in it with us. And back is Matt Padilla.
Sorry about that. I don't know.
No,
My just crashed for a second.
no worries, man. So but I was saying, it's a perfect time to be a fan of combat sports, a person that competes in combat sports because there's been more money, like
Oh
there's more
yeah.
money in it, there's more accessibility. You can like within couple seconds on your phone you can be tapped into any promotion in the world,
Yeah, you can watch fights literally at any time right now. And now that everything's opening back up right now, you can see fights anywhere. on any platform, and all the fighters are hungry. Everybody's way hungrier right now because of that time off. And yeah, the money is a lot better. I saw Chandler and Oliveira both broke 800,000 for their fights, so definitely much more money in the game right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, obviously, in this kind of like time away from, I mean, you never stopped training really, but like in this time away from actually competing in MMA, what did you learn about yourself?
Mm, it's a pretty good question, but I mean, I feel like I just realized that I wanted this more. Like it just made me hungrier. I was like, man, I can't believe we can't fight. Like especially right when I wanted to make that run. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to come back, get some belts, and just get to that next level. And that's how I feel right now. Like super hungry. I just want to get fights back to back, win some belts, and make that transition.
I like it. Now, I mean, in terms of how you've plotted out for yourself, obviously notwithstanding the past year, but what is the course like? Did you want to be a belt collector, or and then turn pro? Like, is the crown jewel the California state title? Like, how are you charting it out?
I mean, definitely want to get as many belts as I can. I do want to be a belt collector. I don't want to jump straight pro, but I do want to pump out some fights for these titles. Absolutely want that tough enough title. You know, I fought Sam Panight's super talented guy, number one in the nation. He was like 11-1 when I fought him, and like he told me after the fight that I hit him good, and he had to put on a poker face when I front kicked him, and I was like, man, I wish I knew. But yeah, I was like, I could hang with these guys, so just need to put everything out in my head and be like, I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at when I train with these guys. Camo State champions, tough enough champion David, you know. So it's like I know I'm at that level. Now just got to go out there and show it.
No, 100%. Which you mentioned tough enough a couple times, right? And you fought on the Pack the Mac card, right?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, twice. So what is that? I mean, to me, of course, there's a lot of amazing promotions, right? But like, we're talking about the Thomas and Mack Center, right, in Vegas.
Yeah,
That's the UNLV.
historic.
Yeah, that's what over 10,000 people,
Uh, it was like 15 to 17,000.
right?
Yeah. So I mean, Floyd Mayweather's fought there. I think Chuck Liddell fought there. Like
Yes.
historic stuff, and just walking through that place, seeing everything. Like I just want to be part of history.
Did that give you a little bit of extra, kick in the ass to get it done?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It gets me fired up being in there, man. I can't wait to for them to open back up, and I want to fight there again. And I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't mind winning the Battle MMA title. Battle MMA. Bruce and Brian Smith. They were the former matchmakers for Tough Enough, and now they have their own promotion. So I absolutely want to fight for them at least once before transitioning. Like those
Wow.
guys, absolutely appreciate those guys so much, and I really want to be on one of their cards and win their belt.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Which you want to be a belt collector? I consider myself a bit of a belt connoisseur, and I hate shitty belts, right? The
Yeah.
shitty belt designs, right? So, in your mind's eye, what is the most aesthetically
Hmm.
pleasing belt in MMA?
I man, I think the Ryzen one was a little like I used to hate it because it was like a block, you know. But then the more I saw it on Kyoji Horiguchi. Uh,
Yes.
I was like, man, that thing's actually pretty nice when you see it up close. I like that one a lot. I saw the new UFC title in person, and I was like, man, that one's really nice. When you go to the UFC PI, they have it on display, and I was like, man, in person, I would not mind having that Power Ranger belt.
Really? You like that one?
Hey, in person, that thing's nice. I don't care. But the Ryzen one, uh, there was a tournament belt that Ryzen had. That Mirko Cro Cop one. That one
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
yeah.
badass.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know. I don't know why they don't bring that one back, but that one was badass.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, yeah. No, I fucking hate the Legacy fucking championship. Okay,
Yeah,
so first and foremost, right? Most people say Power Ranger, and yes, it does look like something off of fucking Tommy, not the Green Ranger, but when he went to be the White Ranger and shit like that.
yeah,
Like that's it kind of reminds me of that, but it also reminds me, fucking paper plate when you have a picnic. You
yeah.
dip that some bitch in gold, and that's what you got the fucking Legacy title.
Pretty much. Not gonna lie. Uh,
Yeah.
you know what's underrated or not underrated, but I love the Glory Belt. If somebody would make that
Yes!
one
With
into
the
MMA,
fucking chains?
I love the chains on that thing.
Oh, yes.
That
Oh.
that's not
Tell.
MMA, but that one's badass. I would love that one.
No, it fucking counts. I actually meant to say combat sports, but fuck it, yeah. So that counts.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Glory's up there, high tier.
yeah. Which, funny enough, so I knew MMA, pro wrestling. Those were my two wheelhouses, right? So when I would listen to Rogan, like early on, and he'd be talking about Badahari, I was like, I thought that was his like last name. He was just like whatever, and then
Hmm.
I saw, like one of his fights go a while ago, and apparently his Badr Hari is his last name. First name Badr,
Yeah,
last name Hari. It got confusing, is what I'm saying.
yeah, that guy's a beast though.
He is fucking traps.
Oh
Yo, Jesus Christ. Um.
yeah, we had Rico Verhoeven in our gym once, and
Oh,
that's like
how
one
was
of the
that?
that was like one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen. I'm like the size of his quad. Like I make up half his leg.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. So who? So would Rico be like the biggest like MMA fighter that you've seen, or combat sports athlete that you've seen?
Probably, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's the biggest guy I've seen. But he was checking out gyms because I guess he wanted to make a transition to MMA. But that was years ago, so I don't know if he even wants to do that anymore. But that'd be badass. I'd love to see him make that transition and just test himself.
No, 1,000%. So Shane Carwin is mine.
Mm. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I've heard stories that that guy's just like not even human.
Jesus Christ. So it actually happened. The FedEx that I was working at, it was in the same kind of like business complex as a Max Muscle. And for those who don't know about Shane Carwin, he owns a whole lot of Max Muscle supplement fucking chains in Colorado, right?
Uh,
So they opened up this, fucking Max Muscle in the same business complex and whatever, and they had him there literally the week after. So he fought Brock like the Saturday before. The following Saturday, he was at Max Muscle in Bakersfield, and my God, so the signing was only supposed to be from like 12 to 2.
yeah.
He shows up at like 10, goes to 4, made sure
Damn.
he signed every fucking autograph. When a kid went to him and was kind of timid and was like, hey, how are you doing? And then basically, like the kid was killing his arm and shit like that.
Yeah.
And or if you saw somebody with like, military insignia, he got up and saluted. That dude is a beast. Now, he looked like a fucking mountain. Like the Pokemon that looks like a fucking rock, like a wrestling rock guy. That's what Shane Carwin looked like. And he looked like very small compared to Brock Lesnar, so I could only imagine what Lesnar looked like.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome hearing how humble he was, though, and taking the time showing up early and staying late.
Yeah,
Like, you
two
wouldn't expect
hours.
that out of a guy like that.
Yeah, like literally after losing like the UFC interim title, whatever, like a week removed, and he shows up 2 hours before, stays 2 hours later, made sure everybody got an autograph. Like my sister that weekend, like that Friday, the day before, got into a car accident, and he was like, "What's wrong?" Like he was actually fucking like talking to everybody and did that.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like, "Oh, my sister got in a crash," and he was like, "What's your sister's name?" And fucking makes out a picture to my sister.
Man,
In
that's
addition
awesome.
to my stuff. So
Need more people like that in the sport, just being humble and being a people person.
yeah, well, that's why you're here, man. I love it, man. So obviously you're here, right? But for Matt Padilla to be here, not just in MMA, but also in life, there has been a lot of people that have, basically ushered you into success. So let's get some shout outs out of the way, my man.
Shout out Sam Alvey, Tom Galicchio, all of my coaches, Joe Stevenson, Dan Henderson, Gustavo Pugliese. He's like not mentioned as much as he should be. Our boxing coach, Sam's boxing coach, Dan's boxing coach. He's been there for everybody. Tarek Safadine. We've got a room of killers. So all of my coaches, everybody. Louis Delatorre, he's a fighter and also managing the gym. Dude's killing it. Building a crazy wrestling program. Super happy with everything he's doing, and I'm really happy for that guy. I'm super thankful for everybody, man. Trevor Wells, Jaden Campbell, Caden White, David Lopez. I could go on. I wouldn't be able to shut up. But yeah, also when it comes to sponsors, Dedicated Tattoo, Perfect Tan, Give Me My Meals, Carl Prescott. Shout out to everybody, man. And Louis. All right, I got a little story with that. So Louis decided to buy the ass section of my shorts for this fight, and it was kind of a little joke thing, and then we shook on just get me a munchie meal from Jack in the Box, and you get that spot. And as we were talking about it, Coach Joe comes up and he was like, "Oh, you're selling sponsorships?" He's like, "If you give me the back section, I'll give you $200." Right after I was talking about that. And I was like, I already shook on it with Louis. I can't. So I missed out on $200 because I just made a joke out of it.
Hey, fuck it,
But I got a story out of it. So
yeah, and I mean, I guess your ass is covered.
Yeah, absolutely. By Louis.
Literally. Oh, that's tremendous. Man, I can't wait. Obviously, the fight's going down. It was at Epic 46?
I'm not sure the number. It's July 23rd.
23rd.
Epic Fighting, 4 Point Sheraton. Check it out on purplepass.com for the tickets. I'll go ahead and put the link in my bio. Coupon code EARLYBIRD if you want to take care of that service fee and not have to worry about it. It's going to be an awesome night of fights. 8 title fights. And I'm going to go ahead and take that belt home. Probably take a Fight of the Night trophy home. I'm really excited. I think I'm going to have a barn burner of a fight.
Yeah, so you get the Fight of the Night trophy. Where's that going?
Shit. I'll probably leave that at the gym. Just go ahead and let that stay up there.
Along with, Henderson's fucking pride trophies and shit?
Yeah, I'll take the belt home. I'll leave the trophy in the gym.
Yeah!
Just show everybody, if you come here and train with us, you're going to take some belts home.
And win some fucking trophies.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. No, I love it, bro. And, dude, I'm just so happy that you're happy to fucking do the thing that you do. So that time is coming pretty soon. We're less than 2 months out, man. I cannot wait.
I think it's 9 weeks removed right now, so
Yeah.
I'm hyped. I'm training my ass off. I'm excited.
Yeah, now you mentioned the coupon code that you're going to put it in the bio and everything like that, but you can't get that if they don't follow you. So where, Matt Padilla, can they follow you on social media?
Luckily enough, if you just look up Matt Padilla 125 on just about any social media, I'm there. So go ahead and do that. Instagram, that's where I'm most active. I don't really use anything else too much, but Facebook, Matt Padilla. I don't use that much either. Honestly, just follow me on Instagram, Matt Padilla 125.
Hell yes. Well, Matt, again, thank you for doing this. Can't wait. Man, Epic is going to be epic this coming July. So I cannot wait. And thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I mean, Matt, you're subscribed to the podcast, aren't you?
I am.
Damn right. So be like Queso and let Queso Mania run wild on you and subscribe to the podcast. Yeah, brother. You need to fucking grow out the damn fucking Fu Manchu fucking mustache, man.
Oh, yeah. That'd complete it.
Yeah. Hell yes. Now, again, be like Queso and subscribe to the fucking podcast. Go ahead and buy the tickets if you're in the San Diego area or beyond for Epic Fighting. And but if you don't believe me or Matt, and I don't know why you wouldn't, well, here's Pro Wrestler Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang.